morning. Good to see you. How is everybody? I'm trying to move something here on my TikTok. It won't let me move it. No. All right. How are you guys doing? It is Tuesday. What is the date, you guys? Is it the 29th? I think it's the 29th. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, well, that's okay. So it is Tuesday. And just as a reminder for anybody who's on the replay and you jump on, and so let me know that you're in on the replay. That'd be great. And I would love to know where you're coming in from, as always. And if you're on YouTube, like some people are starting to subscribe over there. I just kind of throw it up. And so that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Go ahead and subscribe. And if you ever need anything, my contact information is posted below. And so I will not be on live on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I am going to Orlando from Minnesota. And so we won't be live tomorrow, you guys. I'm sorry. It's like, oh, shoot. And TikTok, I know, like this moved. So I don't know what to tell you. That's going to sit there for the entire time. But I do that. Good morning. Good to see you, Cheryl. So I do that, though. I put that there so that everybody can see where the site is on my profile, because that's where you can get into the Facebook group. There's a Facebook blue button in there. So that's what that's there for, Cheryl. I'm seeing Cheryl everywhere. It's awesome. It's totally awesome. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts. You guys are amazing. My trip sounds awesome, and I should learn a ton. I should learn a ton. Yes. So it's like I was saying, it's a Christian social media kind of like business, it's kind of like whatever, like a little bit of extra credit, right? Carol, good morning. And again, just I like to be able to get away alone with my husband. That's always a really good thing. We've been married 37 years, so it's very fun. But yeah, so I'm excited to learn some new stuff. But good morning, Michelle. Good to see you. You guys are awesome. Look at everybody jumping on. That is fantastic. Very, very good. Okay. So what I wanted to do then today was I thought, okay, so if we are stepping kind of like whatever, we're stepping into November, we're stepping into December. And for anybody that kind of wants to have a little bit of understanding of why do you even care about your insulin resistance? And why do you want to turn it around? I thought I'm going to give you 8 benefits of turning it around. And then I'm going to tell you, like, how does this, like, what's the fallout of not turning it around? Like, why are all of these connections? Why do they exist? And good morning, Sue. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Because the truth is that, again, I always start with that premise of this is not a terminal diagnosis. I'm so close on Facebook today. It's like, wow, we're so close. Oh, see if I mess that. I'm not going to do that. Okay. We're just not going to touch things. I was touching, so I don't even know if my microphone for Instagram is working very well. It doesn't matter. But I'm like, I think I've been touching buttons that I'm not supposed to be touching. And, that's just, yep, this is what we do. I'm fine. Carol, thank you so much. You're amazing. Both of your parents are diabetic and it runs in your family. Michelle, yes. So when I was a little girl, when I was born, my dad was right around 35 years old. And that's when he was diagnosed with type 2. And so my entire life, missing nothing, he was type 2. And he ended up becoming insulin dependent, and he would give injections twice a day in his belly, right? And so that was very normal. And I've talked about this before, but I mean, I remember as a little girl, I could close my eyes right now and I could tell you, like, walking into their bedroom, I know exactly what it looks like. I know exactly what the dressers look like. And I know which drawer had the Ziploc baggie of all of the hypodermic needles. Like, I remember all of that, and the vials of insulin in the fridge. And I was raised on Tab soda. Was anybody else raised on Tab soda? That's funny. I was raised on Tab, and I was raised on, the pink packets with saccharin and all of the things. And this was my life. But the thing is that I never really stopped to think about the fact that it was having such a negative effect on my dad. I didn't process that as a child, right? I was just like, oh, that's dad. And he's got sores on his legs, and, he just didn't feel good all the time. He had a lot of aches and pains and what's my word? Circulation issues. He had a lot of circulation issues. And that was very just normal in my world. But I never, ever, of course, asked any questions about that. Like, why would I? That was just something everybody got, right? Like, you either got it or you didn't get it. So, que sera, sera. You can't fix it. It's just going to be what it is. Well, that's not true at all, right? Because I found out later in life, like my mom, who never had diabetes in her family, she ended up type 2. So it is a diet-related disease. You took cases along with you to college. Oh, that's hilarious. So anyway, so that was my life. And so I love sharing about this because I'm the only one in my family to have avoided type 2 diabetes. And I did it using supplementation. And then I traded out my foods. And now I teach both. So there you go. You don't drink any diet pop or use any sugar replacements. That's totally awesome. You do bake, you use raw sugar, and you use honey to sweeten it for like coffee and tea. Well, if you're insulin resistant and you're working on your sugars, that's super like bad. That will spike your sugars and be kind of frustrating. But there are some alternatives actually that are super good. I would really encourage people to look at allulose, because allulose, being a plant sweetener, studies are showing it's literally bringing sugars down. Now, if you're not insulin resistant, that's fine. Like, God did not make bad food, right? We did not make bad food. When we're insulin resistant, we have to watch things because it just changes everything. So, okay, let's jump into this. All right. So, do you want these benefits that come from turning back your insulin resistance? Here are 8 of them. Number 1, sustainable weight loss. Insulin sensitivity reduces belly fat, especially the dangerous visceral fat, making weight loss more achievable and sustainable. Number 2, increased energy levels. With stable blood sugar, energy crashes are minimized, resulting in more consistent, lasting energy throughout the day. Number 3, improved mental clarity. Reducing insulin spikes helps prevent brain fog, improving focus, memory, and mental sharpness. Number 4, balanced hormones. Remember, insulin is a hormone, and we talked about that yesterday in you can go back and watch the replay if you want to. We talked about estrogen dominance or having low estrogen. When does that happen? How does insulin as a hormone, when you have insulin resistance, affect those other hormones and make life frustrating for you? Insulin affects various hormones. So improving insulin sensitivity can help stabilize your mood, your reproductive health, and sleep quality. Number 5, reducing the risk of chronic disease, lower risk of heart disease, type 2, fatty liver, and have a longer, healthier life. So they're not saying red meat. They're saying turn back your insulin resistance. Number 6, better skin health. Clearer, healthier skin with reduced inflammation-related skin issues like acne or skin tags is a common benefit. Number 7, enhance your gut health. We talk about this all the time, don't we? With the gut primer and a probiotic. Man, that is such a great duo. Improved insulin sensitivity supports a healthy gut microbiome, reducing bloating, digestive issues, and even autoimmune symptoms. And number 8, mood stability. And I'm sorry, but who does not want mood stability, girls? We all want better mood stability and lowered anxiety, because there is a connection between insulin resistance and anxiety. And if insulin resistance is messing up your gut, we already know that your gut can give you, if it's messed up and it's not balanced, anxiety and depression, because 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut. As insulin levels normalize, mood swings lessen and feelings of stress and anxiety can diminish, creating a more balanced emotional life. Amazing. So having said that, let's go back. Good morning, Claudette. How are you? I'm coming to Orlando tomorrow. I'll be in your neck of the woods for a few days. So hello, Florida. We love coming to Florida, Claudette from Minnesota. We love it. It's like, yay, we get to go see a palm tree. We're so happy. Anyway, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Could be. So you have to understand insulin resistance is a really complex condition that has sweeping impacts across various body symptoms. It doesn't just disrupt your blood sugar. It's deeply tied to a range of health issues. And I want to talk to you guys about the connection. So I explained insulin resistance a lot in the group. So the group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And every month we do a 5-day challenge. It's free. It's in the group. We're doing our 18th one in November. 18th one, a year and a half. OMG, like this is amazing. We're right shy of 5,000 women in there. And I love explaining insulin resistance because I'm fully convinced that if you can understand what is happening, then you will not live in deprivation land. You won't think, oh, I'm restricting and I'm depriving myself. And, it's all about balance. It should be all about balance, and it's not. And I don't understand why it's not all about balance. Everybody else gets to live in balance. All of these things that go through our head, like we feel entitled to have a normal life. And again, God didn't make bad food. But when we mess up just some of the systems in our body, and we have to turn it around, we do have to stop what got us into the pickle to begin with. Okay? So that is the food connection. But let's explain insulin resistance so that you can at least know what is happening in your body and why, and then why natural remedies actually work. That may not be true for something that's terminal. I don't know. That has not been my wheelhouse. Maybe it is. And maybe people talk about that and maybe people get censored about that. I mean, I already talk in code just about insulin resistance. Can you imagine if we were talking about something even more serious? This does lead to serious complications. And that was my dad, dead at 63. I was only 30. I started my insulin resistance in my 20s, gestational diabetic with my first baby, hypoglycemic with my second, and then I did absolutely nothing for over 25 years. I'm not saying I was wise. I'm not saying that was smart. I'm just telling you my story. And so what happens then is most women do not know that you can be insulin resistant. I know, Lisa, it's not just me. Oh, yeah, you like palm trees too? Mm-hmm. Hello, let's do it. You can be insulin resistant for years and years and years, and even like me, decades, and never know it because they're not pulling a fasting insulin test on you. Good morning, Magda. You're still in Connecticut with your munchkin. Oh, yay. Coming home tomorrow. Missed a few days of your lives, but we'll double back on your replays. You're good, Magda. I love that. Don't want to miss any of my past lives. Well, Magda, just as an FYI, I will be off tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday because I'm heading to Orlando. So I won't be around, okay? Just to let you know. So that's a good time for you to watch replays. Fill up on your replays. Okay. So this is what's happening in your body. You have sugars that go up, but long before your sugars ever show high, you've had insulin resistance and your insulin has been going up. Insulin is a hormone and it's released by your pancreas, and sugars are blood glucose. It's sugar in your blood. Okay. And your insulin is the goal of insulin is to fuel your body. It's a hormone. Yes, it stores fat. Yes, it has other things, but its main function is to find energy for your body. Where is the energy? Where is the energy? And when you have glucose in your blood, which is normal, it is normal. Anything you eat is going to turn into glucose because your body goes, oh, energy, yay. And it takes the energy and it puts it into your cell. And your cell is like, thank you. I have energy and now I can function and do all of the things that I need to do. But the rub comes in when we have given our bodies way too much sugar on a regular basis. Just boom, 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 boom. And we do this year after year after year. And after a while, our cell that was so happy goes, oh, wow, that was a little too much. I'm kind of done now. I'll close the door. No more. I am officially resistant to the process of insulin putting glucose inside of me. I'm done. So now your pancreas says, oh, I must not have produced enough insulin. That must be what's happening here. I thought I was doing good. I just need to produce more. So it produces more insulin, which is higher inflammation. And at the same time, it can't take care of all of the glucose because it doesn't have anywhere to put it. So it stores it as fat as best it can because your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. It knows how to run like a machine. But you have to help your machine if it gets bogged down, just like you would help your automobile. You would not wait for your first oil change at 100,000 miles. Your mechanic would laugh at you and you'd probably break down. It's the same thing that's happening with your body. So once that happens, now it can't keep up with the glucose and now they're just rising. That's usually when you find out about it. Because now the doctor goes, oh, I'm so sorry, you're type 2 or you're pre-diabetic. Could we have caught it earlier? Yeah, sure. But tomato, whatever. Que sera. We could have taken a fasting insulin a long time ago to know that your insulin was rising and rising and rising, but they don't do that. So you think that if your sugars are fine, you don't have insulin resistance. And that is not necessarily true. But also what's not necessarily true, and I don't talk about it a lot on here, but you don't have to be overweight to be insulin resistant. It's just that it's common. So I speak to the most common denominator of being overweight because that's really a lot of sign for us. And we actually want to reverse our weight, our size. We want to go back. And when your sugars and your insulin are high, can't lose weight. Stuck. Won't budge because insulin is a hormone and you literally cannot lose weight when your insulin or your sugars are high and you're on this hamster wheel and you're like, what the heck? I used to be able to do points. I used to be able to be in the gym working on the elliptical. I used to be able to live in a calorie deficit only. I used to be able to do all these things and now I can't do any of it. It's not working. Why is it not working? Okay. That's the weight piece of the puzzle. But when you bring them down, guess what? Now you can lose weight. So that's where I started. I didn't trade out my foods first. I can talk about that later. I started with targeted supplementation. That's what I'll talk about that later. But that's when bring down my insulin and my sugars. I lost 3 sizes now in my 50s. I'll be 60 in January. And I'm not on any meds and I'm not type 2 and I'm the only one in my family to have avoided it because I took a natural route, not because I was smart and wise, but because I was scared to death of going to the doctor to find out where everything was for me because of my dad. So I just assessed the sores on my body. I assessed how much I was peeing and drinking. That was my life. So that is insulin resistance. This is a technical paragraph saying the exact same thing, but this is how it would sound. I know it's diabolical, Carla. It is. Insulin resistance occurs when the body's cells stop responding effectively to insulin, the hormone that helps to transport glucose into cells for energy. When cells resist insulin, the pancreas compensates by producing more. Thank you for all the likes, Ruthie. I so appreciate you. It produces more insulin. Over time, this leads to consistently high insulin and blood sugar levels. Causes can include poor diet, especially high in sugar and refined carbs. That's been the universe of the standard American diet for a long time. Chronic stress, sedentary lifestyle, certain medications can kick you into insulin resistance, and genetics. And that whole time of like stress, if you're not sleeping, you guys literally those, like for women, I mean, I'm sure it's true for men too, but a lot of times it goes hand in hand. Sleep apnea, not sleeping, high stress, high cortisol, insulin resistance, higher chance of type 2 diabetes. So if you are in If you are a female in a stressful job over time and you are not sleeping because you are stressed or because, for whatever reason, and maybe you're eating like trash because you're eating on the run, all of these things, higher chance of type 2 diabetes connected to sleep. Who knew that? Who knows these things? So over time, this constant demand for insulin exhausts the pancreas while blood sugar levels continue to spike, leading to metabolic stress. So what happens when you have metabolic syndrome, weight gain and obesity? Because insulin is a fat storing hormone. It's busy storing that fat. Type 2 diabetes, that's when your blood sugar starts to rise out of control and your insulin can't take care of it anymore. Cardiovascular disease, high insulin and blood sugar can damage blood vessels, leading to plaque buildup, high blood pressure, and increased risk for heart disease and stroke. You know what? If you only hear me say one thing for this entire hour today, this is the sentence. High insulin and blood sugar are the cause of damaging your blood vessels, leading to plaque buildup, having high blood pressure, and increasing your risk for heart disease and stroke. Not eating eggs, not eating red meat. It's high insulin and high blood sugar. This is why when you get diagnosed with type 2 and they put you on MET, you are usually put on an STATIN, and oftentimes you're put on an HBP med. And because the STATIN causes sadness, then the fourth one is usually an anti-sadness. There's a suite of meds that they will offer you as a answer, as a package, as a bundle. They will bundle your meds. That's why. So when my dad had type 2 diabetes, over time, he ended up with what kind of issues? From his high insulin and high sugars, high blood pressure, heart issues, heart attacks. I don't think he ever had a stroke because he died too soon, probably is the answer. And then he was dead at 63. And this was the very impetus of what made me question, what in the world is happening? If he had all of these amazing medications available to him, why is he dead? I don't understand. And I kind of like tucked that into the back of like a filing cabinet in my brain. And I didn't do anything about it forever. Because then that would mean I would have to take personal responsibility for my own universe. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to figure this out. So I didn't. And then 25 years later, I finally did. It's a long time. 25 years later, about 18 years later after he died, but 25 years later until I was like, because I was gestational diabetic with my first baby, I should have known, but I didn't. I mean, I didn't pay attention is what I'm saying. So personal responsibility, right? So cardiovascular disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. A lot of people have fatty liver. And 50 years ago, it was usually an alcoholic that had it, and now it's rampant. And this is where it's coming from. Don't be confused. Don't allow yourself to sit in confusion. Like, oh, there's so much information. And I just don't know what to do. And I don't know where to start. And I don't know how to start. And, I should probably go to a cardiologist for this. And I should probably go to another doctor for this. And I should probably go to another doctor for this. And then nobody's talking to each other, but I'm just going to keep on going to different doctors and getting different meds and then wonder why they don't play nice together. Like, this is not rocket science. I want to set you free to understand this is a super, super simple conversation. And it's always the same conversation, and it never changes. Everything is coming from insulin resistance. Turn back your insulin resistance. Stop eating the way you've been eating that created the insulin resistance. But the best news is that you still get to be a total foodie and do it at the same time. That's the part I love to teach the most. Get into the group. Ditch insulin resistance for women. Let's make fun food. Let's enjoy the holiday season. Let's do November and December completely different than you've done it before, and like crush and enjoy at the same time. Like, what? I thought I had to stop being a foodie. I thought for sure I had to stop being a foodie. Okay, so basically, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and then the last one is hormonal imbalances. We already know this. It affects the balance of hormones like cortisol. And girls, listen up. Listen up. It's not just men that need testosterone. Cortisol, testosterone, estrogen, contributing to issues like PCOS, infertility, and irregular menstrual cycles if you are perimenopause. Cognitive decline. Elevated insulin and blood sugar levels can impair your brain health, increasing the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Inflammation and immune dysfunction. High insulin triggers inflammatory pathways, weakening immune function and leading to chronic inflammation, which plays a role in autoimmune. And the last one is digestive health issues. Insulin resistance can lead to poor gut health by disrupting your gut microbiome and increasing inflammation, which affects digestion, nutrient absorption, often resulting in bloating, constipation, and other digestive disorders. Okay, so that list, these are the connections and the consequences to you choosing potentially, which I don't think you will, you potentially choosing to do nothing about your insulin resistance. Okay, weight gain and obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, hormone imbalances, cognitive decline, inflammation and immune dysfunction, and digestive health issues. It's all connected. It's all connected. So true, your lipid panel is borderline normal. You did your own labs that included high sensitive lip tests. You have high level small particle in the arteries. You have high homocysteine, which was due to inflammation. Now I'm at elevated cardiovascular disease. Turmeric. Yes, turmeric. Yeah. And if you want a good turmeric, seriously, don't hesitate. Reach out to me. Turmeric is not very bioavailable in your body, but mine is like, it's literally taking 400 milligrams of the turmeric that I have is it's equaled at 6,000 milligrams of another turmeric. So like, don't even mess around. Don't waste your money. It's 45 times more absorbable. Yeah. Lipid, not lips. Got it. All 8 are so true. Yes. That is amazing. That is amazing. All right. I know, it makes you wonder what doctors are being taught in med school. Yes, we should ask that question, shouldn't we? But you know what? We don't even have to try to figure that out. Go listen to the Nutrition Roundtable. It's like, is it 4 hours long? I think it's 4 hours long. I know you can find it on Rumble. You can probably find it on YouTube. Senator Rob Johnson is the one that put it out there. I think he's the one that put it together, maybe, but it's on his channel. I don't know. He's a senator. I don't know anything about him or where he's from or anything, but he put together this Nutrition Roundtable, and Dr. Casey Means is one of the doctors that talks on there, and she's a surgeon from Stanford. And she's the one who said, I think she's the one, it was either her or the gastroenterologist who said, we are taught how to cut, code, and write scripts. Cut, code. Cut, code, bill. You know, they literally just know how to like work the system, work the insurance system, give you scripts to answer your problems. And they are not taught any of this, Lisa. So that is very, very true. 4 hours and well worth the time, Carol says. Yeah, it is. I still have a little bit left on there that I could be watching. So maybe I'll extract some of that over whatever time here, and just to bring you more pieces of that, because it is really well worth it. Again, my main message has to be, this is simple, 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 simple. If I came on here and I told you all the time something new and different as to how to deal with this because it's so freaking complicated, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. But when you realize that it's as simple as insulin resistance is the very core of the foundation, everything else on top of it literally is like this. Everything is like this. So deal with your insulin resistance. Okay. So early signs and symptoms could be fatigue after meals, sugar cravings, weight gain, especially around the middle. This is the belly fat connection, brain fog, skin changes like dark patches or skin tags. If you're hungry all the time and feeling hangry, as it progresses, these issues become more severe and may include high blood pressure, cholesterol imbalances, and high fasting blood sugar levels. All right, let's get to the help. What can possibly help? And so the two things that I teach, basically, they give me the answers. And you know what? I feel like at the very beginning of this journey, before there was live any of this, before there was a ton of information out there, like on YouTube, because it's a little over 10 years ago, there was definitely some, but I wasn't looking it up because I wasn't paying attention, because I wasn't looking to fix my problem, because I didn't realize the degree that I had a problem. But I feel like God gave me my answers, and I'm so excited because then what happened, and this has happened in many areas of my life, where I feel like answers come to me or strategies come to me, and then I reverse engineer. Okay, so then why did that work? What was what was about that answer that actually whatever? So I'm super grateful, right? So a low carb or a keto diet, reducing your carbohydrate intake lowers the demand for insulin. This helps restore insulin sensitivity and often leads to weight loss. So you have to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. So again, it's not about deprivation or restriction because you're punishing yourself. Like, you can stop beating yourself up now. You can stop waking up and hating the decisions you made yesterday. You can stop shaming yourself and understand that you're trying to lower the demand of insulin in your body. So when you do choose to eat off plan or too many carbs or whatever, you're just making your body call on too much insulin. Okay. So you're trying to lower the demand. So just switch out your ingredients and eat the same dang thing. Just do it a tiny differently, just a snippet differently. And you do not have to hate the food that you're eating. Okay, that's a lot of what I teach inside of the group. Focus on whole foods by avoiding refined sugars, grains, and processed foods. Eat non-starchy vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats like avocado and olive oil, etc. Right? Intermittent fasting can be very beneficial. Fasting intervals give a body the break from insulin production, helping to reset insulin sensitivity over time. So that's probably the absolute best benefit of intermittent fasting, is giving your body a break from producing insulin. Like, let your pancreas go, okay, reset. Like, that's probably the best benefit of intermittent fasting that I have now come to understand for people. And so that can be very beneficial. I personally do not count hours of intermittent fasting. Maybe I should. I don't, but I intermittent fast kind of by default, because I wake up and I'm not hungry. And so I don't eat until oftentimes, so I'm Central Standard Time. I don't eat until usually about 11 in the morning, sometimes noon. It just depends on how hungry I am. I'm kind of like practicing listening to my body, because we numb everything. We numb it all. We have, like, if we have a headache, we don't listen to our body. We just take some ibuprofen. If we're sad or we're happy, we just eat food, and we just don't assess ourselves, and we don't pay attention. So by learning how to eat when I'm hungry in the morning, and if it's not until 11 or 12 or whatever, that is actually a practice that I've incorporated into my life, so that I can, I'm actually not even hungry, so I guess I'll wait. Whereas usually we just eat because of our schedule. We're just conditioned, and we have to break that conditioning and actually listen to our body. But that's the beautiful thing. So I love talking to women, because we know how to follow our bodies, or at least we learned it when we were young. We learned it when we were getting our periods in middle school. And we knew when our period was coming, and we knew when we had PMS, and we knew when we were moody, and we knew all of these different things. And then somewhere along the line, life just took over, and we became very like busy and disconnected. And we started filling everything with things that we, just to kind of maybe like quiet down, whatever. Like, I don't even know, but we just became lacking in basic self-awareness skills. And I found that to be very true for myself in my 20s. Like, I just wasn't paying attention to my body. I wasn't very intuitive. And so, or I lost my ability to be intuitive, or whatever. I chose it. I don't know. So that's why I love like the way that my daughter is doing her life, because she is doing everything opposite of me. And she's very intuitive to a lot of things. And you become that way when you have 3 births that are natural at home. Like, you become very intuitive to your body. You have to really go there in your mind and be very paying attention to everything. So there you go. So focusing on whole foods, and again, not keto marketing foods, because they're going to lie to you and they're going to put junky ingredients in there. So like, eat meat, eat eggs, eat asparagus, eat the greens, eat the non-starchy vegetables, like eat the real food. Don't require everything to be combined like a mishmash of a casserole. I was raised on goulash. I was raised on every single kind of hot dish and casserole known to mankind. Tater tot hot dish and goulash and all of the things. Well, the problem is that you're just mixing a bunch of ingredients to create a meal. We have to literally get away from that and start being singularly focused. Like a serving of meat and maybe some asparagus. Just being like super simple. It actually makes your life tremendously easy, way easier. So intermittent fasting, anti-inflammatory foods, omega-3 rich foods like salmon, to reduce inflammation. Spices like turmeric and ginger also have anti-inflammatory effects. Guess what's in the gut primer? Alkaline spices, organic ginger root powder, organic turmeric, fermented organic turmeric root powder, fermented organic cinnamon bark powder, fermented organic cayenne fruit powder, fermented organic fennel seed. I'm just telling you, like the alkaline spices in here, anti-inflammatory, very, very good. Okay. Exercise, strength training, aerobic exercise, consistency is the key, obviously. And again, stress management, we talk about that all the time. And you do have to come up with tools in your toolbox to find, you've got to figure out your sleep. You've got to figure out why you're stressed all the time. And if you are anxious and if you are like a nervous Nelly, and you know you need to get your gut in alignment so that you can turn that back around and not be depressed and not be anxious and not be all of these things, you might want to start with your gut. You might want to start with a gut primer and a probiotic. You can always reach out to me and tell me that, because if you can get your gut to function better, you can actually like bring down some of the stuff. If you need kind of an immediate, like if you need an immediate, I'm trying to think of how immediate that really is, though. Over time. Hello, Anna. Thank you for jumping on and liking. I appreciate you so much. Using adaptogenic herbs is probably one of the best ways that I know how. And it's probably just because it was my own experience. Using adaptogenic herbs is where you can actually help yourself to have less anxiousness and more sense of well-being. And so God has given us answers to come from a couple of different ways. So when they talk about supplementation, they talk about chromium and magnesium. Well, guess what's in the trio? Chromium. That's one of the main ones. It's a really huge piece. They do mention berberine. I've never used berberine. It's only been in the context for me of people saying that it hasn't been enough for them. So I don't really know. They just wasn't popular 10 years ago. So I don't know anything about it. EGCG, guess what's in the trio? EGCG. Cinnamon extract, that's in the gut primer. Omega-3 fatty acids. If you need a good fish, ask me, because you want to get it wild caught. Don't get a supplement that's not wild caught. You're just exacerbating everything. You don't want to do that. And then probiotics and prebiotics, gut primer supplements. This is exactly what it's listing. And as far as probiotics and prebiotics, again, a healthy gut microbiome supports insulin sensitivity. Probiotics from supplements or fermented foods and prebiotics, fiber-rich foods, feed beneficial bacteria. Certain gut-focused supplements, like a gut primer, support your intestinal lining, reducing inflammation and helping to prevent insulin resistance from digestive disturbances. And it's a gradual process. Consistent lifestyle changes, dietary improvements, regular exercise, stress management, they're keys to reversing it. Regular blood tests can help you track your progress, and working with a healthcare provider to make personal adjustments, blah, blah, blah. Incorporating these natural strategies, making daily changes. Yeah, strong foundation, etc. So again, to go back to the very beginning, the benefits of turning back around your insulin resistance, and you may not even have thought about all 8 of these, but you can learn and you can actually attain sustainable weight loss, increased energy levels, improved mental clarity. You can balance your hormones, reduced risk of chronic disease like heart disease, type 2, fatty liver, better skin, enhanced gut, and you can find better mood stability and lowered anxiety. All because you choose to walk the journey and get on a track that helps you to deal with your insulin resistance. Isn't that something? That all of that can come from having one focal point, one laser focused focal point of insulin resistance. I think that is just amazing. And if we can streamline our life so that we only look through the lens of insulin resistance, if that's what we are, insulin resistant, it makes life so much easier. It makes life so much. Hey, Tammy, thank you so much for the likes. It makes life so much easier. We think that it is hard to trade out our food ingredients. And I am the first one to say, I thought it was going to be the most mountainous thing that I ever did. It's why I didn't do it right away. I thought, there's no way. I'm Italian. That's just not going to happen. I don't understand. So that's why I started with supplements. Okay. And if you think about it, when you actually give your body the raw materials that it needs, going back to the conversation of insulin resistance and how this all happens, when your cell is resistant to insulin and glucose, trying to see if I can, there was a word in there that I thought was really helpful, but now I'm not seeing it, so that's okay. But when your cell is always resistant to insulin shuttling glucose into it, giving your body the raw materials to function again, it's a key. It's a key. And then trading out your food ingredients, it's the second key. So what does that look like? For somebody who's like, I immediately need to work on my insulin resistance, that's the trio that I talk about, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. This is where I started over 10 years ago. And they have sustained me in losing 3 sizes now in my 50s because it changed back. It changed things at a more cellular level instead of a semaglutide, which is knocking on the door of your pancreas, because your pancreas is not a forever spitting out insulin organ. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't go forever. But let's have the cellular conversation. Give your body the raw materials that it needs. Yesterday morning, I told you, I said, I had just received a text from somebody who said, no, it was a voicemail. And she said, I just want you to know that in the last 3 weeks, she said, I started the gut primer and the probiotic, and I've lost another 6 pounds in 3 weeks. And our prior conversation was, since she started the trio in January, She had already lost 16 pounds because when your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. You're stuck. But when you can give your body raw materials and get your engine moving again, you can get it moving. And then what happens with a gut primer, it's multi-layered in conversation. But one of the things that does happen is that it increases your nutrient absorption. So when you do something like this, it's bringing down the inflammation inside of your gut. It's helping you with nutrient absorption from the food that you're eating and the supplements that you're taking. But you have to move along that impacted waste. You really do want to make sure that your liver is functioning at a higher level. So there's a liver conversation in the trio, and there's a liver conversation in the gut primer. Your liver governs the glucose in your blood. It governs your hormones. Like, it's a really, really big deal. Remember that t-shirt? I should have worn it today. Love your liver. Love your liver. My girlfriend made that for me because your liver, if you knew that your liver was your fat metabolizing organ, you would kiss it every single day. Just telling you. You love the gut primer and the Ignite. Suzette, tell me what you're noticing about the blood orange. I would love to know. You miss pasta, Cheryl. I know. And I'm not even saying that if I went to Italy, I wouldn't eat pasta because you can take classes over there and then you make it and it's homemade. And I don't know how you completely pass that up. But to be really honest, I know that that's completely different too. And we do have to pay attention to the, there are a lot of factors that go into, our insulin resistance and where we are in terms of being metabolically flexible. You can become more metabolically flexible again, but I know. Suzette, good morning. I didn't see that. Yeah, I would love to know why you love the gut primer and the Ignite. I would love to know. So what she's talking about is recently we had a product that got launched in August, and I didn't talk about it for a full 60 days. And the reason why is because it tastes like an orange pixie stick, like it tastes like candy. And I thought, this has got to spike sugars. It has to. Can't imagine that it doesn't. So I sent it off to a friend of mine and had her test her sugars for me. And because there was no way I was going to talk to you guys about it, right? Just whatever. But the idea behind it is that it is a high antioxidant. It's literally a blood orange extract, but it's a clinical dose of it. And it's a thermogenic. And so basically what it's doing is it is, for lack of better scientific conversation, and I will get better scientific conversation. The expert is coming to Minnesota in December. And when I go, I'm going to give you all the goods. I'll give you all the information about what he gives on that night when he's talking about different functions inside of the body and everything. Like, I am such a geek. I'll take all the notes for you. But basically it's a fat burner, and it helps in your hips and it helps in your waist. And that's where I've noticed it. I've noticed it in the narrowing of my hips, and my husband has noticed it in his back fat. So it did not spike sugars at all. And in fact, come to find out that this particular kind of an extract actually helps with insulin sensitivity, and it's helping with visceral fat, which is the dangerous fat. So now I'm a full out proponent, and a lot of you have started taking it. And so I am definitely looking for your testimonies, because nobody should just take my word for everything. If you need testimonies on the trio, because you need to find out that somebody else had their sugars come down and they couldn't get 1 pound to budge. They couldn't get they couldn't get their morning sugars to budge at all. They couldn't go over to my Instagram, and there's a pink highlight bubble at the top of my Instagram page, and look at all the testimonies of the trio. Then I started another button, and I only have a few in there so far, of the gut primer. I got to get more in there. The gut primer is starting to now get some testimonies on it. And look at the top of my Instagram page. And now I'll start collecting the blood orange ones. And then I'll put those in there. Michelle, thank you so much for asking. So on Instagram, when the live is done, your comment goes away. So if you go to my profile, and I think maybe you could click up here. I don't know. You can go to my profile and you'll see a button that says message. Message me there and just say, hey, I was on your live. I'd like to know about that blood orange stuff. I am not live tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, Cheryl. Thanks for asking. I fly out tomorrow morning for Orlando, and then I'll be gone till Sunday. Okay, so Suzette is saying this. I have such great energy, and I feel like my waistline is shrinking. Yep. Your clothes fit better. Very good. Very, very good. I would also like to know, is it possible to make carnivore pasta? Yes, it is, Sue. It is possible to make carnivore pasta. It's on YouTube. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yes. I want to see that comment. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. I will. Yeah. So I would like to, if you have a second, Suzette, I would like to know how long have you been on the gut primer? I'm assuming you did the gut primer before the blood orange, because I would like to know how you're feeling from the gut primer also, or did you do them both at the same time? But it's kind of funny. So as a business team, we get together a couple of times a month here locally in Minnesota, across the nation. But for me, my friends are here, right? So so we get together and we're kind of like going, so have you tried that blood orange stuff yet? And, we're kind of all being a little sheepish because, to be really honest, and I really highly, highly encourage people, measure yourself. And I'm just going to tell you, the integrity of the line that does not make claims that are not true, like they do not test something for a short period of time and then throw it on the market and make big claims. They are a very, very, very long-standing, privately held company that has a massive reputation and would never compromise their reputation. They just can't do that. So what I'm saying is that they have so many scientists that when they go into development, when they do R&D, they do R&D. And they even said that other people who have tested something like this, like a thermogenic that burns fat like this, maybe they've tested it for 3 months to check the effectiveness. They did it for over a year to track graphing on this. So they might be slow sometimes, to release something, but the results then are like, holy Hannah, what in the world? So that's kind of what we've been experiencing as a team. And so we're all kind of like, oh yeah, no, it's a really good product. What are you noticing? Yeah. Me too. Because we're all kind of a little stunned. We've never heard of something like this before. So you've been on the gut primer and the blood orange for a week. Good, Darla. Yes. Your energy is non-existent in the morning and it takes me hours to get moving. Michelle, will you reach out to me? Because you might just be of course, there are layered conversations to have. But the truth is that you could help that short term on the front end with an adaptogenic herb while you're fixing other things. You don't have to live with brain fog and exhaustion and try to figure out your ingredients, figure out a new recipe, figure out how to function in your life, figure out everything. You can take an adaptogenic herb to deal with those symptoms on the front end. That's what I did. And then you are able to think clearly, multitask better. You're able to actually function so that you can make the changes necessary. Don't make this so hard on yourself. That's really that was a big deal for me. I didn't realize that's what I was doing at the time, but it allowed me to actually process. If I were to come across any information like this, I needed to be able to process that information. I needed to be able to implement that information. Well, it's hard to do if you have brain fog and you're exhausted all the time, right? So if you'll reach out to me, Michelle, I'd be more than happy to help you. More than happy. Bye, Carla. Have a great day. Both at the same time. So the gut primer is great for elimination. Oh boy, is it, you guys. It's going to move that impacted waste along, and it is so important. And great pH balance. Yep. And you've been doing it 15 days. That is awesome. So Suzette, okay, I'm going to ask you one more question. Why do you say it's great for pH balance? How do you know that? I mean, I know it has the alkaline spices. I get that. So are you just reading it off of there and that's why you know that? Or is that something you pay attention to, I guess is really my question. Because that's super interesting. I love it when you guys are so choosing to be intuitive for your body. Because if I just came on and I just talked about a magic this and a magic that, and then I never taught you how to fish and I never taught you how to pay attention and I never, like, then where are we? Do you know how many messages I get from people who say, I am so frustrated because I was on a GL. I just received this. It was either last night or this morning. Sometimes they bleed together, so I don't know. They blend together. And she said, I was on a GLP-1, super grateful, lost 30 pounds. And I've gained 15 back because I went off of it. How can I do this naturally? Because if you can learn just, you guys, just a few tools, just you're so close to having just a few tools in your toolbox to make this move, to like push on that envelope. You know, somebody who says, I haven't lost 1 pound in the last 3 years after I was diagnosed with type 2. I was doing, meds and berberine and inositol. And the minute I started to take the trio, replacing those, the raw materials, replacing those nutritional deficiencies, bam. And in 2.5 months, loses 14 pounds and her morning sugars come down 30 points. Those are real live examples of how, man, you're so close to just pushing something over the edge. And for people who something doesn't happen overnight, trust the process of your body turning around. You just have to trust a little bit of a process. Okay? Think about where you want to be next year at this time, not in 2 weeks, because not everybody's going to have results right away. It's just the way that it is. Your body, there's no way to know all the factors, right? Your hip surgery is next week and you're off GLP-1 as of yesterday. I guess if I'll gain any weight back over the next 30 days, wishing me luck. You may not, Cheryl. You've got tools in your toolbox now. You are so far ahead of everybody else. So I really do. I'm going to believe for you that you're not going to gain 1 pound back. Not one. You're going to do really, really well. And that hip surgery is going to go really, really well for you because you have been so diligent in bringing down your inflammation. You have been so diligent in making changes for your own world. So diligent. You're going to do great. You're welcome. I'm just going to believe that for you. I feel like what happens is that you are a rarity in the fact that you've been on a GLP-1, but you've also been so connected to figuring out all of the other layers of your body and like your food and all sorts of things. Like you've implemented so many things. A lot of people aren't doing that because a lot of people are just relying only on the GLP-1, but they're not making any other changes. So let's learn how to fish. It's not that we have to be against everything, but you have to have skills, tools in your toolbox. And especially when we talk about emotional eating or whatever, right? That's why we did self-sabotage no more in the group. Ditch insulin resistance for women. That's the name of the group. And that's why this wasn't supposed to be down here today, TikTok, but it fell down. Doesn't matter. But I do that so that you can see the my site, because then there's a Facebook blue button on there. You can jump into the Facebook group. But when you do, it's like we've been doing the Self-Sabotage No More book a little bit on Monday nights. And it's very helpful because we have to do this. So here, I'll show you. Supplementation. This is the trio. That's what it looks like. Oopsie, not that one. This is easy. Oh, TikTok can't see me. This is easy. This is hard. This is easy. This is hard. Okay. Dealing with our heart, our emotional connections to food. Those are the hard piece. This is easy. Everybody can start the trio. Everybody can start a supplementation routine that will help you to go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. Help to calm your food noise, shut things off so that you can actually function. Just telling you. Only on 6 months, lost 35 pounds. Way to go, Cheryl. Man, It feels good. Feels good for your body, and your body needs that for that surgery, doesn't it? Positive thinking and talking helps too. It sure does, Michelle. It does. And you can't get on another GLP-1 authorization. You had to do lifestyle changes. Oh, she's thinking, you're so sweet, Cheryl. It's just, what? We just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going in the direction of less inflammation. Keep going in the direction of switching out your ingredients. Keep going. Like, do November, December differently than you did it last year. If November, December to you just means you just throw everything to the wind and you just know that you're going to binge and party, and you're not going to say no to, your aunt's, favorite cookies or the bars or the whatever. If you just know that it is such a hard season for you, I am telling you, you can make this season, even if you made it 1% better than last year. How about 5% better than last year? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a home run, but you can make it better. And then next year you can do it again better. You can make every single season and build on top of each other. I started shy of my 51st birthday. I am now shy of my 60th birthday. Okay. So I started a little over 10 years ago working on supplementation so that I could actually get my body to shut up, shut off that food noise, bring down my cravings, bring down my insulin levels, get my liver to wake up and function. Come on, you can do it, right? Start to work on my metabolism and my visceral fat, etc. That's what the trio did for me. And then I ended up losing 3 sizes. But I will tell you, you can change this. It just takes a little longer, but you can. And last night when we were going through the section of the book, we were talking about all of the things that we say to ourselves that are negative, all of the limiting beliefs that we have, and how they keep us stuck. But we can get unstuck. And this doesn't have to be like, you don't have to go to years of therapy to figure out your food issues. You don't have to go to a team of docs like oncologists for those who have C. You don't have to do that to figure out your insulin resistance. This is way simpler, way easier than that. But they just want to keep us medicated. They want to keep us they give us really trash information. They give us extremely trash nutritional advice. And if you've been type 2 and you've been told you can have 150 grams of carbs a day, that is one of the most important stories that I have, is somebody who in 2020, so it's during the shutdown, but she had to go deal with her type 2 anyway, right? So she goes to the doctor and she says, and they tell her, and she goes, I'm having such a hard time keeping my sugars under control. And she said, well, tell me what you eat in a day. This is like local to me. Like, this is a personal friend story. Tell me what you're eating. Well, I'm eating this, and this. And she said, I kind of actually really gave her one of my worst days of eating. Like, I just really gave her the worst. And this was the response. Oh, you're doing totally fine. You can have up to 150 grams of carbs a day. You're fine. You know what? All you need to do is instead of taking that little pill that you're taking, we'll just change you over to an injection. She was so pissed. She was so pissed. So mad. So mad. Shocked. She was like, excuse me? So do you understand that the information that comes from the matrix is not congruent? That is not an answer. That's BS. That is not an answer. Because, and we'll wrap up with this, because what happens when your metabolic syndrome becomes linked to other conditions? What are they? Weight gain and obesity. We hate that. That sucks. Type 2, that sucks. Cardiovascular disease. Whoa, that really stinks. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Turn around a bowl until it's cirrhosis. Hormonal imbalances. Yeah, I don't think we like being crazy people and wondering what's wrong with us. Cognitive decline. My mother had Alzheimer's, no type 2 in her family, developed it in her 80s, took care of her for 5 years with her Alzheimer's. Terrible, terrible disease. No fun. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. Inflammation and immune dysfunction. So that includes autoimmune, chronic inflammation, and digestive health issues, which is your poor gut microbiome, inflammation, digestion issues, Crohn's, IBS, all of the issues that people have, right? And now you have leaky gut. You're leaking all of your nutrients. And so now you have so many other issues on top of bloating, constipation, and other digestive disorders. I'm thinking that's really bad advice to tell somebody that you can have 150 grams of carbs a day. You just have to go from a pill to a shot. That should not be allowed. That is really, really bad advice. That is a Minnesota healthcare. We're supposed to be amazing. We're home of the land of the Mayo Clinic. We're supposed to be amazing. It's the system, you guys. So take it into your own hands. Do what you can do. Become your own advocate. Turn back your body. Because when you turn back your insulin resistance, you turn back your brain fog and your exhaustion and your weight gain and your bad sleep and your stress and your anxiety and your depression. I am not making any claims. I'm just telling you that what happens when you bring your body back into balance, these are the things that can begin to happen for you. Okay? My path, the track that I teach women to run on is targeted supplementation and trading out your food ingredients. And man, are we having fun. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. And you don't have to live this life of frustration. So here in Iowa too, okay, you can't get, okay. Here in Iowa too. Oh, Sue. Yeah, I forget. You are so close to me, aren't you? And insulin is way more expensive. Yep. Somebody said this to me yesterday, and she said, why does it have to be so expensive to go a natural route? Why does it have to be so expensive instead of, whatever? Well, you guys, come on. It's intended. Let's just call it what it is. They'll give you all of the free PHARMA that you want, or low cost. You do have to make a choice that you reallocate your resources. It is an intentional decision. I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But wow, am I glad that 10 years ago, I decided in the middle of literally, and I can't go into this because I'll just keep you here too long, and that's not my goal, but I won't be here on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Over 10 years ago, that would have been 2014-ish, maybe 2013-ish, we were rebuilding our lives. We lost everything in 2008. Between 2008 and 2010, we lost everything. Job, 401k, 20-acre hobby farm, everything we owned. Literally, one dog died, one dog ran away. It was like a bad country song. I am not even joking. It was a really, 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 really hard time. So right around the time that I started to implement targeted supplementation into my life, we did not have resources. We didn't. But the pressure of my mother really helped me out a lot. Kirsten, are you even getting your sugars checked? Kirsten, are you doing anything about your sugars? Your dad died of type 2 diabetes. Kirsten. And I wasn't. The answer is I wasn't. And it was during that time that all of a sudden it didn't matter, and I had to figure it out. I had to finally take steps. And so I've done it with absolutely no resources, and I've done it with resources. And I'll tell you, the results are the same. When you make changes for yourself, when you invest in yourself, when you realize that you are the best investment you will ever make, because you are then the only grandma to those babies. You are the only mom to that daughter. You are the only, wife to that husband. You have to invest in yourself and into your future, and you have to give yourself permission. And sometimes it's hard because we feel like we're being irresponsible because that's what we've been told, but it's actually the most responsible thing that you can do. So I just traded out my food. I traded out the way that I was doing things. And I started to, again, maybe I was prioritizing certain entertainments or whatever, and I had to stop doing something over here so I could start doing something over here. It's just reality. And then, maybe in my 60s or 70s, I have to prioritize something else. I don't know. I haven't been there yet. Right? But I have I have a whole, I don't know if that wouldn't be a bad term. I have a whole gaggle of these wonderful women in their 70s that are taking care of themselves and supplementing and changing the way that their body is functioning, because for the first time ever, they don't have to take over-the-counter laxatives because they're using the gut primer and a probiotic instead, and they're so happy. So just know that your life can be different. Your body can function better. So there you go. If you need anything, okay, Michelle, I will message you back. Kristen, good to see you. If you need anything, let me know. Again, I will be around, even though I'll be totally available the next 4 days. I'll just be off of my lives because I'll be on an airplane, and then I'll be in a conference on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you need the trio in a cart, tell me you need the trio in a cart. Find my number and text me, or get into my inbox or my messenger and say, I need a cart with the trio in it. If you want a cart with the gut reset in it, which is a probiotic, and then you choose one of two probiotics, gut primer, and then you choose one of two probiotics, tell me you want the gut reset cart. If you want both, tell me you want both, and I'll get you both. Because a lot of people are doing that because they're just like, you know what, I'm just going to knock this out of the park and be in a completely different place January 1st. So you let me know what you need, and then we'll customize it for you. So have a super blessed day. I will see you again, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday, the 14th. Okay. Monday the 14th, Monday the 4th. Next Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you are not in the group, ditch insulin resistance for women. What are you even doing? You will get tagged in a free PDF recipe pantry thingamajigger. We'll have another free 5-day challenge coming on November the 14th, it'll be Monday through Thursday this time. And then you'll get all of the encouragement and support that you were actually looking for, that you maybe didn't even know you were looking for. Maybe you just didn't even know that you needed more with your supplementation. You didn't want just supplementation, but you wanted a person behind it that can walk journey with you and help you. So get in the group and let's have fun. So there you go. All right. See you on Monday. Have such a terrific day. Be abundantly blessed, more than you have ever been, and enjoy your day. See you guys later.